What are you doing? That one just...
Yeah, just close it.
Dismiss.
Dismiss is fine, yeah.
There you go. I think we are live.
Ah, good, we're live then. It's good to be live, isn't it? It's good to be live. Thank you, thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you, thank you.
You have to...
You know the drill. Large capital Q, colon, write the question, then a question mark. It makes it easier for Ted to twiddle the right knobs. All the right knobs. You have a very bright hat on today, my love.
Good in it.
Yeah, it is. So, what's news?
The news is that it's already muted.
Excellent.
And everyone understand that.
The live stream, when it comes through, delayed so that we don't get it echoing back on ourselves. Yes.
I don't know what's new. Lots of weeding, lots of, I don't know, fucking around.
Yes. Good. You fuck around too much. You always fuck around.
So you didn't get to use them then?
Well, they're a bit big for Ted, so you can wear them. Ted was going to wear them because the lights are a bit bright for his eyes.
These are my kitty glasses.
Yes, or your kitty-sized head.
Yes, they fit my head, but my eyelashes are hitting the doings.
Right. Anyway, I believe there are some questions, so I guess we could crack on with some of those, perhaps, just for fun. Why not?
Right. We shouldn't be wearing these during the day.
No, it's daytime. No, quite right, too.
So what's this?
What's what?
Bart K debunked. What is this about? Have I missed something?
Debunked? I don't know. Was I debunked? DC? By whom?
I was just curious.
Who debunked me? I'd like to see a debunkment of me. That would be fun.
Yellow, sunshiny meatheads.
Good work, Trace. Good to see you. Jeez, it's early. Did you shit the bed? It's 8 o'clock in Australia.
Maybe.
In the east.
Maybe she did this
Will
time.
you stop fucking around back there? Sit down.
Okay, Yoko Tubin has many questions.
Yes.
So the first one is Ted in the way.
Ted's... There we go.
What particular shaving cream would you use?
When I do shave, I tend to use a now redundant Cerule product that they've discontinued. So I'll let you know when I've got a new Cerule product for shaving. Cerule has a good skincare range for those that are interested in skincare. I only generally promote the nutraceuticals thing, but perhaps I should be more active in promoting the skincare. I'm 106, you know.
Of course. We got a super chat. Okay, that's enough now, dog.
Stop
Jesus, not that one.
Yes. Super chat, no singing. That didn't last long, did it? We were going to do no singing today.
Well, you said you were.
I lied.
You failed already.
Yeah, shit happens.
Right. Question 1 is grounding to the electrical outlet is as good as directly into the ground. Question 2. I don't understand the deuterium stuff. How important is it, and do you plan making a video about it?
Well, there are those that believe that grounding directly to the ground is better than to the plug socket because of so-called dirty electricity. I'm not sure I buy it myself because I don't think that the active and phase wires really could induce very much of a voltage in the earth wire at all. A post newsy.
Here.
Just mind your head on the way up. Perhaps you should lift it rather than let it jump.
Yeah, but I can't lift from there. Come here. Okay. Come on. Yes, like that.
Professor Snoozy joins us. Hello, Snoozy Professor.
She can't settle without being on the show.
That's it.
Sorry about shaking all of the...
We're having an earthquake here in New Zealand because Pim's fucking around with the dog. Yes, so I'm not sure that dirty electricity is much of a thing. Jack Cruz disagrees with me. He thinks it is a thing, but then Jack also thinks that light is more important than food in terms of your health, which is wrong, Jack. That's false, completely false. However, whatever. Jack has his opinions, and that's fine. Question 2, I don't understand the deuterium stuff. Watch Harry Sopanos' channel. On his you can't watch anything new because he's banned until November, but watch poor Harry. Watch all of his old stuff on deuterium. He's got a lot of stuff there that explains it all. It's pretty straightforward, really. How important is it? Quite. Something to keep an eye on, absolutely. And do I plan on making a video about it? Maybe, maybe not specifically. Depends on whether it turns up as a major topic for consideration, perhaps.
You might want to go on YouTube and search for a guy named Laszlo Boros,
Yes.
who is doing a lot of research about deuterium. Just keep in mind that I think he's also involved in selling low deuterium water, so if you don't want to be sold to, just ignore that part. But it's legit stuff if you actually want to have it.
Or our good friend, Dr. Sarah Pugh. Pew pew! Say
Yes,
pew pew!
I have a deuterium video on my channel with Sarah Pugh.
Pew pew!
Pew pew!
Pew pew! Motherfuckers.
So you can go and watch that too.
Yes, what's your next question?
My next question is,
Yes.
do you think that trans fats and the Randall cycle are possible causes for heart disease?
Yes, absolutely. I don't think it, I know it. It is a fact. Super chat, Pete. Good for you. Good for you.
Is that a super chat?
Yes. It's a super
sure
chat
about
from
that?
Pete. Yes.
I think it's a sticker chat.
Whatever. It's a super sticker then. No question. But
Like
we
that.
appreciate the $4.99 in Pacific pesos, New Zealand dollars, Pete. Kia ora.
I
Love
cut
it.
their claws yesterday, so they're still a bit owie.
Owie.
Yes.
Well, keep you close to yourself, Snoozy.
Yeah, it's just digging into my leg. Right. Do you believe that there might be another civilization in our universe?
There absolutely has to be. Just by the sheer astronomically small odds that there isn't. I would say absolutely yes, without any question.
Right. And the last question from this person.
Yes.
Which vanilla extract would you personally and occasionally use for occasional desserts? Vanilla extract alcohol or vanilla extract glycerin, and why?
Go, that's your department.
Why not vanilla powder or vanilla pods?
Ooh.
It's quite expensive, but the powder isn't usually so expensive.
Yes, indeed.
Would probably be better choices. I do have some somewhere.
If there is like problems with the mouse button thing, which there probably will be again, just don't lose your rag today. I can't fix it yet. It's not the mouse. It's something to do with the Windows setup where it's not working well. Just be patient.
I have no patience.
No patience. No patience for any bullshit at all. What bullshit is this? Found hard for dear to eat snacks, she says.
I don't say that. Right.
Yes.
You guys fancy duck meat at all?
Yes.
Is wild poultry significantly better nutritionally than domesticated?
Yes, I like a bit of duck now and then. I have it very rarely, but I do like a bit of duck breast at least. Is wild poultry significantly better nutritionally than domesticated? Probably in that it doesn't get stuffed full of antibiotics at least, and fed inappropriately like domestic ones often do, perhaps.
Yes. And they don't eat grains and shit. So they are going to be better.
Yes. What do you think,
For
Ted?
that reason alone. He's not said much for, you know.
Well, yeah. He could say things.
Why is his nose falling off?
Well, everything's falling to bits on Ted. He's had a hard life. He's had to live with me for nearly 53 years.
That's true. Nothing else would survive that long with you.
Well, that's been shown to be the case so far, yes.
That's what I mean.
Ted is my
That's the truth.
longest existing friend, confidant, and constant companion. He's the only one that hasn't left me.
My hair is just standing straight out. What the fuck's going on here?
Whatevs.
Alright, so is this the vegan appreciation channel? I just spent the morning appreciating vegans myself.
Yes, absolutely. We appreciate all the vegans here.
Yes.
Yes, especially those who are card-carrying members of the official membership of the priesthood of the High Church of Anorexia Vegana. Yes.
Question.
Yes.
Per your advice, I exercise 3 hours a week on a bicycle. I never felt better. Thank you. Anything else I must do for optimal health?
Yes, there are 5 things I suggest that a person does to maximize the likelihood of their best lifespan and health span. They are in a video called 5 Health Hacks You Need to Know About, where I'm doing that on the thumbnail. Yes. That's so that you can see that there's 5, and also so that you can see the palm of my hand, thus making me trustworthy, I'm told. Oh, Snoozy doesn't trust me, though.
Isn't she?
Well, she probably does these days, but not for 6 months when we first met.
Oh, more than that. But you barked back, so you
yes.
prolonged that process a lot.
Yes, you can always trust me to deal with things sensibly. Anyone that barks at me gets chopped back at. That's the way it works in this world. Ooh!
So that was meant to take a long time.
Well, good.
Super chat.
Yay!
HIIT cycle training question. I'm M57.
Yes, a male of 57.
I see.
Yes.
Max heart rate 173. Ramp tested.
Lovely.
I aim for a heart rate of 162 to 173 in my intervals. Is that about right?
Fantastic. Love it. High intensity, burst and repeat at the top of your range. Good stuff.
Very, very nice.
And active recovery in between your bouts. Possibly, depending, up to even, depending on your fitness, etc., maybe 5-1 active rest to active doing your repeats.
Wouldn't you just look at your pulse instead and make sure
you
that
can
it's
work it
under
on
a
your
certain
pulse.
level?
You could say when my pulse is back down to X, Y, or Z, I'm going again. The goal would be to shorten down the active rest to work ratio, so it's closer to 1. I don't think you're going to get it to 1. Even top athletes aren't necessarily achieving that. That's all relative, of course, isn't it, Ted?
Yes.
Don't you think?
Ted never fucking exercises.
And yet he falls to bits. There you go. See, exercise or we'll fall to bits like Ted. Ted needs a bit of, he needs a new eye still. I sent for one from China, but it never arrived. Imagine that, sending for something from China that doesn't arrive.
Where can we get a Ted nose job?
Yeah, he needs a nose job too, because the top of his nose is all open and it looks like it's going to fall off. If it doesn't, you probably can't see it from this camera angle, but...
Leprosy?
Leprosy, yes. Lepra Ted. And, he's also lost most of his fur. He really needs a makeover in a big way, doesn't he, poor old Ted? He's had a hard life, as I say.
Yes. Shall we take another super chat?
Oh, why not? We like super chats. They pay for the sovereign nation of Pimbatia to exist.
Thoughts on what to do when you can't get vitamin D in winter, no sun? I'm thinking of eating mostly fish, salmon trout, cod liver oil, but worried about low K2 in strict carnivore diet, no dairy.
Right, it depends on how many generations your ancestors have been living at a latitude where there is little sun in the summer. The offside of that, of course, is that there is much more in the winter in terms of sun, although it may not be as intense as equatorial sun, sure, but you should actually have a profile that goes like that year by year. Summer, winter, summer, winter. It's normal. Your body expects that. You don't need to load yourself up with vitamin D in the winter. You need to load yourself up in the summer by exposing your skin, as much of it as possible, to the direct sunlight. Consistent with not doing that during the part of the day when your shadow is shorter than you are tall. Probably less important the higher up latitudes you are. Certainly where we are, you don't get into the direct sun in the middle of the day for much more than 15-20 minutes, even if you do have a solar calyx, because you tend to burn. We have a lot of UV down here in this part of the world.
Who's burning in 15 minutes?
Well, most people. Most people, unless they have absolutely no seed oils in their diet, in which case they tend to burn a lot slower. Isn't that interesting? I
wouldn't say there's absolutely no seed oils in my diet. I have, what's it called? Pesto. If we count olives as seed oil.
Well, we do, yes.
I still don't burn very easily. I do burn sometimes in spring.
Right.
And it will probably happen again. Now.
Yes.
Where did that fucking question go? There.
Fucking question, yes.
What do you think about alternate day fasting, but for the fasting day only eating butter, trying to kick myself into ketosis?
Okay, a couple of points there, a couple of threads there. Number one, why? Why on earth are you trying to kick yourself into ketosis? For what possible reason? Your body will click itself into ketosis if that is indicated metabolically for you at the time, depending on what is happening in terms of your intakes, your activity levels, your stress levels, basically the environment in which you place your genes. Your genes will react accordingly. It just doesn't make sense. Why would you do that?
Let's say that the person has a really good reason for wanting to do that.
Okay.
What would you say then?
What would that be?
Well, ketones do have some anti-inflammatory properties, etc. So maybe they have a condition that they want to cure that requires them to have high ketones.
High ketones?
Yes.
Are you sure that ketones have anti-inflammatory properties, or is that just something that's been suggested in the literature?
Yes. That.
The second.
The science has said so.
Oh, well, trust the science. I'm the science. Don't question the science.
Well, let's say that is true.
Yeah.
What would you say there?
I would say that if there was a definite anti-inflammatory property of ketones and a person wanted to have ketones and use ketones for anti-inflammatory properties, you could take exogenous ketones for that purpose. Or you could stop eating, because that'll get you into ketosis in about 72 hours. But I would still say to you, what the hell are you doing that for? Because I'm not convinced.
If you're doing alternate day, though, and you want high ketones, it's probably better to eat butter than not eating at all. It's probably going to give you more ketones.
Okay. Sure.
That's what I would say.
Right. All right. Good. All opinions are welcome
You're so
here.
fucking resistant to answering the question.
No, I'm not. I'm just giving people food for thought. To think about the
Thoughts for
questions.
food.
Yes.
Okay. Blood glucose is around 100 to 128, 124 to 28 in the morning. On carnivore, beef, eggs, fish, bacon, 2 meals per day. Do I need to put effort to lower it, or it should be okay? Fasting insulin was 4.5.
Well, it really depends on many things, Dolly. How long have you been on this way of eating, this regimen? How much are you eating in each of these 2 meals? It looks like it might potentially be slightly too much in terms of protein, because your fasting blood glucose there is a little bit higher than ideal, so-called. However, there is no evidence, actually, that having an average value at around that value is problematic, so long as you don't have any upward excursions of the large kind that you would get were you on a diet that was rich in carbohydrates, for example. Your insulin looks okay, standalone, and the morning thing is normal. That's fine. There's nothing there that concerns me hugely. Just try cutting your protein back a bit, or indeed have 1 meal a day instead of 2, and see what happens over the next 4 to 6 weeks, maybe. Or if you're not worried, then that's cool, because I wouldn't be worried necessarily at that level.
Okay.
Okay.
Do you agree with the notion of acne being diabetes of the skin to be true?
I have no idea. I'm not a specialist in skin. Tell you who is, though. Dr. Abs. We'll ask him next time he's around.
I have never heard of acne being diabetes of the skin.
No, neither have I. It's not impossible, but let's ask Dr. Abs what he thinks about that. He might even show up today. He's actually, well, last I heard he was in New Zealand. He was in Auckland a few days ago.
Bloody hell.
I know.
Is he not coming down here then?
No,
That's rude.
not this time.
Rude.
I know, rude, Abs.
Rude as fuck.
Rude. It's only an hour and a half on a inter-island flight. You can fly from Auckland to Nelson in 90 minutes, and we can come and pick you up from the airport. It'll take us 40 minutes to drive there from here. No, we're not important.
Nope.
No.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is the ApoB metric a good indicator of heart disease? What about blood pressure?
No, neither. It's not a good indicator of anything. Blood pressure is more likely to be a much better predictor, if that's what you mean, of heart disease than is ApoB, because there is a mechanism by which chronically elevated blood pressure can lead cause and effect to the atherosclerosis development. But the same is not true of ApoB. That's a theology, it's an idea, it's a hypothesis that does not enjoy any level, actually, of scientific evidence. It enjoys a great deal of consensus agreement from people who are paid a lot of money to agree with that idea. But the actual science underpinning ApoB is anything to do with heart disease is absent. Not a jot of it exists. How's that?
Okay. My son, a fit as boxer. He wants to go full carnivore, but wants to not lose but gain muscle. Also, will it clear up his psoriasis? And as L feel it will, can he re-eat some crap after?
Well, going carnivore is a good idea, whether you're a boxer or not. Going carnivore will not cause you to lose muscle. Why would it? If anything, it will assist you in building more muscle per total body mass because you will lose probably a little bit of fat that may well be sitting there that is not needed. Will it clear up psoriasis? Well, it has the potential to definitely be ameliorative in that regard, but his mileage may well vary in terms of that. And can you re-eat some crap afterwards? No, that's a very bad idea to go carnivore, be clean for a while, and then eat some crap, because you will respond very, very negatively to that indeed, probably. Troy, Jesus, I thought you'd passed on or something. I sent flowers to the wife, Troy.
Did she respond?
No, she didn't.
Okay.
I didn't really send any flowers.
Thank you, Troy.
Yep.
Can you tell us more about biking? I know you say don't do cardio, but I have been biking a lot the last 3 weeks. Heart rate varies 120 to 175 when biking.
What I say, Troy, is don't do hours and hours and hours a week of so-called cardio exercise at a set intensity, steadily, rhythmically, and that intensity being moderate. I suggest that people do burst and repeat, very high intensity followed by active repeat type stuff on and off. You can do fartlek style if you like. You can absolutely cycle if you like to achieve this. What I don't want to see is people doing hours and hours and hours and hours of moderate intensity exercise. Okay? Okay. That's bad.
Okay, next
Right,
one.
good.
If you start carnivore without transitioning over 8 weeks and you run into problems fat adapting, do we just power on or reintroduce former foods for a while?
No, you power forward, because that fork in the road is now behind you. That ship has sailed. You missed the opportunity to do that. So you do power forward. You do the 5 things in that 5 health hacks video. And you may choose to add an experimental so-called peptide called BPC, Bravo Polly Charlie, that is, 157, for about a month at a dosage of somewhere between 5 and 800 micrograms per day in tablet form. You can get it from Amazon if you want. I would pick a brand that offers you a lab report saying this is what we tell you it is, along with your purchase. Okay? The feral grandma's here. Good to see.
Is vitamin C required to recycle glutathione?
So they say, yes. It's part of that reaction system. That's what I'm talking about with the mouse thing, yeah.
Why did you not?
Because it didn't work.
Do you agree with Gotis that the real human lifespan is 250 years if one follows a carnivorous diet?
I don't. I think it's more like 150, give or take. It seems based on the balance of talking to sensible people, of whom Goatis, otherwise known as Spheriae, is not a member of sensible people. He's an absolute fucking imbecile, is what he is. I mean, he thinks the world is flat, and that it's a good idea to stare directly at the sun, and a bunch of other even less pleasant things that he's involved in, including being a bit stabby. Apparently. Good.
Got some jumping here again.
Yes.
But here we go. How does one know if they have symptoms of caffeine withdrawal? Can symptoms come after a month of the reading of caffeine?
Well, the symptoms of caffeine withdrawal are similar to symptoms of any other addictive substance withdrawal. So go and look up any of those, you know, palpitations, sweating, aggravation, poor mood, disturbed sleep, inability to relax, a feeling like I want that substance. And yes, those symptoms can come on sometime after you have withdrawn the caffeine. Usually they come on fairly soon after and ramp up over the first 72 hours, after which it generally gets better for most people, but there's nothing to say it can't happen later.
Super chats!
Yay, we like super chats.
Is this 20th super chat on a live stream?
Yay!
Are all desiccated organ supplements a waste of money?
Yes.
Good.
You don't need that in your life.
Do you have some problems
Click
now?
the downward button if you get really stuck, and it tends to free up.
I know that.
Good. I'm just telling you how to suck eggs.
I don't like sucking eggs.
Or anything else. No singing.
What do you think about the so-called water resistance? Apparently, by drinking too much water for a long time, you end up with non-hydrated cells.
I don't know. That's not something I've ever heard of. There's always somebody with a new idea this week, isn't there, about something or other?
I suspect that you're just flushing out too many electrolytes.
Could be
It's
that
not
too, yeah.
water resistance.
Mm.
That sounds... I mean, you'll probably have some aldosterone changes that may persist for a few days if you change how much you're drinking and so on. But I don't think there's anything permanent there.
Professor Fluffy's in the house. Hon världen sötaste hund. Hörde du? Världens sötaste hund?
I'm looking for questions. Here's one.
Yes.
How did humans catch animals in primal times when they are very quick and humans slow?
Well, we had intelligence, the ability to communicate with one another, to work together as a team, and to use projectile weapons.
Maybe traps.
And traps. We relied on the fact that we were smarter than their average bear. Sorry about that, Ted.
And
Just how it
then,
is.
you know, the way it goes in nature,
Yes.
animals that are injured or slow of any kind, they would most likely be caught as well.
Are you the star of the show, Fluffy?
She just haven't figured that one out yet.
No.
She's never caught anything.
Slick it in, liten fitta.
Right. Can undiagnosed, undertreated, low thyroid HIIT cause the fibromyalgia mitochondrial dysfunction? If yes, what is the mechanism?
I think that's entirely possible. And that would be possible on the basis that the thyroid, being the master hormone, tends to set or have a great effect over the set rate of metabolism. Ergo, mitochondria might be running at a rate slower than optimal, basically, which can then lead to an upregulation in inorganic phosphate within the cells, of course, as well as AMP kinase activated activities. And those things will counterbalance each other out in such a way as to lead to a situation where inflammation is promoted. I'd love to have you sit there for a while, Fifi, but you're too wriggly.
With you, she sits completely still with me. Yeah, I wonder why.
I blame the parents myself.
Were you finished?
Yeah.
Okay.
Done.
Troy says that he spent the summer outdoors and didn't burn once. Couldn't believe it. No sunscreen either.
Yeah. That's the way it is.
There you go, Troy. Is there a time limit when selling Cerule to reach the 3 customers?
No, not at all. You can achieve that in your first 3 minutes as a Cerule IBO, or you can take months over it if you like, or you can never achieve it if you want to. It's your business. Basically, what Scott's talking about there is the 3 and free system which Cerule runs, which states that as a Cerule IBO, independent business owner, a member of the club, you qualify to be able to receive your wellness pack every month for free, and all you need to do to get yours for free is to personally introduce 3 people who don't want to be involved in that marketing thing, who want to pay retail for their product, poor hand, and we let them. Okay. We set them up with a wellness pack of their own. They pay retail for it. We say, thank you very much. We take the retail profit for that. We mention how much we love our customers, because we do. And those 3 and 3 only customers will qualify you ongoingly for your wellness pack for free, not 1 cent. Isn't that fantastic?
You have to do the duck face.
The duck face.
Well, what are those Muppet things? They're not ducks, they're like flowers.
Oh, I don't even know what they are.
No idea.
I don't even know.
Anyway.
They're the num beasts. Yes, those pink things. I think they're cows. I think they're supposed to be cows.
No. Really?
Stylized Muppet
they
cows.
Look like flower trumpets.
Flower trumpets. You're a flower trumpet.
You can be a flower trumpet.
Quelf. Quelf.
Okay.
Yeah.
I transitioned to 100% carnivore with 5 eggs shake in the morning. Is it weird that my poop has been slimy, bright yellow, and smells like sour garbage for the past few days? That
no, not
delicious.
If you not if you're eating a whole bunch of egg yolks all in the morning like that. It sounds like you don't need that many egg yolks in the morning.
I could eat 5 eggs and not get slimy yellow poop though.
That also could well be a bile dump.
Yeah, it sounds like that
especially with the smell and the bright yellow thing.
Yeah.
That can be bright yellow right through this kind of greeny, almost this kind of colour.
It's more brown.
Well, this is actually thought of as a green colour. This is Army khaki. This is British Army khaki. Only this isn't a British Army uniform.
The khaki is brown.
But no, khaki is thought of as green. Although I agree with you that it looks brown. This is, by the way, a tunic supplied from the UK Army surplus. However, this is not a UK Army uniform, and I'm not trying to pretend I'm in the UK Army. I'm not. This is the Meat Militia uniform. Also, all these decorations here, they look a lot like American Army decorations. They're very similar, but these are actually these are not decorations from the US Army. I've never been a member of the US Army. These are Meat Militia decorations. That top one, for example, I'm going to have to send one to Harry. That's 3 months ban on YouTube. Is what you get that one for. So yours is in the post, Harry. And you can thank me in November.
Mm-hmm.
Can you imagine when Harry gets released after 3 months of being told not to speak? How much will he have to say?
He will have to have a 24-hour live stream.
Yes. Will he take a breath during that time, do you think?
No.
I have some things to say.
No, he will probably install some breathing device so he doesn't have to.
Yes. Perhaps he can breathe through his ears.
Maybe.
We love you, Harry.
Is Harry a salamander?
We don't tell Rick if he is.
Okay.
He'll get eaten. Right,
Next
shall we move
one,
on?
then.
Yes.
Well, I'm trying, but it doesn't react.
I'm trying
quickly.
too. Ask my mum. She'll tell you exactly how trying I am.
Love your work and you. Can you please explain the difference between how your body uses ketones and fats as fuel source and how does that tie in with muscle needing glycogen to function?
Okay, the way in which muscle uses ketones and or fats from the top or the first intermediary of the TCA tricarboxylic acid or Krebs bicycle is exactly the same, precisely the same. There is no difference whatever. The reason that ketones exist is so that energy in that form can be rapidly delivered to cells around the body at a time when other forms of energy are less immediately available. And ketones can be produced much more rapidly and used much more rapidly from that level of the acetyl coenzyme A, much quicker than fats can. And if there isn't glucose to subserve, then you need the ketones for that. How does that tie in with muscles needing glycogen to function? Well, it really doesn't have anything to do with that, actually, at all. I have spoken in a number of videos in some detail about why it is that muscles cannot function without glycogen. Basically, it's because the sliding filaments, actin and myosin, interacting with each other to cause muscles to contract. That is absolutely reliant upon glycogen. You cannot run that with any other fuel source. And then the other so-called energy systems are linked in to, they're basically gears in a gearbox. They all rely on each other, basically. Remove any one of them and that cell will become necrotic, i.e. die and stop working pretty much immediately. You don't have three energy systems. You only have one. It's an integrated system, basically. For details on that, I've got a playlist on my channel called Exercise Physiology or something very similar to that.
I'm going to turn that off.
Yes, are you warm enough then?
Yes.
Right, the radiator's off. Now it's time for serious business.
I have a question.
Well, you'll have to pay a super chat.
Fuck's sake.
Oh, well, okay, ask you a question then. Better be good.
Why doesn't Ted have a title?
He does.
Why isn't it on the screen?
Well, Ted wants to be a bit casual. And he thinks, me using all my titles is a bit over the top. So he's making a point.
I see.
Ted's official titles, well, they are His Majesty, or His Royal Highness, depending on which context, Lord Edward Yellow, King of the Bears, first of his name, the one-eyed, friend of Bald Boy, Bad Bald Man, sayer of bollocks and are you retarded, first of his name, last of his name. You couldn't fit all of that on a plaque that size, so I just thought, well, he thought Ted would be better.
You couldn't do the HRIH or something.
Well, He's only HRH in the kingdom of bears, where he
is this enough now?
Well, sorry, got that wrong. He's HRH amongst us because HRH is a lower rank than Her Majesty, Pim, Queen of Pirates. So he has to be HRH in this context. But in the context of the bears, he is the king of the bears, and he is, in that context, His Majesty, Lord Edward Yellow, King of the Bears, etc.
I see.
It's all contextual.
Just thought it was a bit empty on his doings.
Well, so is his, I guess, contribution to the show so far. Hasn't it been, Ted?
I thought you meant his brain. Right, next question. I recommend my uncle with a brain tumor to start carnivore and avoid pharmaceuticals. Anything else I can recommend to him?
Those 5 things in that video, 5 health hacks you need to know about. That's what I would do. That's not advice, by the way. That's what I would do. Yep.
Who is the ideal candidate for carnivore priming?
Someone who is showing signs of nutrient deficiency, someone who's probably been on the wrong kind of diet for a very long time and who isn't doing well in that regard. It's kind of a tool that I throw in there. It's almost sort of, you might do well with priming sort of thing. There's no actual hard and fast rules as to who should and shouldn't. At the end of the day, it's only a 2-week period anyway, so you're not actually going to do a great deal of harm in 2 weeks, even if it's not really indicated for you.
Okay. Does lactose really break down in a different way than other forms of sugar? In a way, it would make lactose less contraindicated than the other ones.
Yes, and no, it doesn't make it less contraindicated. Yes, it does break down differently. No, it's not less contraindicated. Yeah.
Okie dokie.
All right.
Been back on carnivore for 51 days now. I have severe lymphedema. Is there anything you could recommend to get the swelling down or reverse the edema?
That's what I would do. And, maybe sauna a bit.
Okay. Is it healthy to have the physique of a bodybuilder? Why or why not?
Well, it depends on how built that body is. There is kind of a level of bodybuilding that does lend benefits to a person in terms of their strength and functional whatever else, but above a certain level it becomes contraindicated because the muscle mass gets in the way of normal movement. It's also associated with cardiomyopathies variously at various stages in life. Plus, people that do what it takes to get huge musculature are usually doing things that are hugely contraindicated to achieve that. People might want to learn more about that by watching the re-release of my live discussion with Mr. Rob Goodwin the other day, which will be tomorrow on the channel. We just had to do a little bit of panel beating, a little bit of editing on it, but it's back and it's pretty much authentic to the original discussion. If people want to watch that, that will be premiering tomorrow on the channel. And thank you for your patience. Those of you who are going, oh, I wanted to watch that. Well, you can tomorrow. Okay? And it was great. Rob was brilliant. It was awesome.
Okay, dokie.
Yes.
Is there a plausible mechanism for glucose causing carcinogenesis?
Yes, absolutely. Without any question whatsoever. Yes.
Very good.
Yeah.
My mum and grandma both have pacemakers. What are the chances of me needing one when I'm older? I'm 43 now.
Well, it really depends on how much you believe that genes are a fait accompli versus how much you believe genes are what they are, but how they're activated depends entirely on what you do with those genes throughout your life individually. I would suggest the latter is the more sensible approach, and it's entirely likely that you could have completely different outcomes to your parents and your grandparents based on living a better life. And just to finish off on Joff's question, the mechanism is inflammation, because a lot of glucose causes inflammation, and we know that cancer is an inflammatory disease. Those of us that know anything about it, that is. said Snoozy.
Okie dokie.
Right.
If caffeine is going to increase heart rate, is it possible that might not happen until several hours after it's ingested? For example, 8 hours later.
I think it's probably going to happen quicker than that for the vast majority of people. I would suggest if there has been a raise in your heart rate some 8 hours later, it's probably not due to the caffeine that you took 8 hours beforehand. But who knows?
Okie dokie. So this one missed the cue, but there were so many hearts I saw it anyway.
Yes, that's another way of doing it.
Hey, what do you think about grounding sheets? Just ordered one. Carnivore 3 years here, 60 pounds plus many other benefits, or minus 60 pounds plus.
Okay, first of all, great work. Great job. Well done on losing 60 pounds over a year or so. Grounding is a good thing. It's on that list of 5 things on that video, 5 health hacks you need to know about. Grounding is number 3 on that list of 5. So there you go. Go and watch that video and you'll see exactly what I think of it. There's also an in 5 minutes or less video on my channel that explains the scientific inferences on which I've based the idea that grounding is a good thing. I think there's about 19 or 20 different pilot studies that I kind of splash up on the screen, Mick the Vegan style.
Trust the science.
Yes, trust me on the science. Don't question the science. I'm safe and effective, me.
Is a resting heart rate 120 be a problem? I heard it's good because it means my heart pump more and thus it gets better.
Well, okay, I would suggest that it's, well, it really depends a lot on your age, a whole bunch of other things. 120 as a resting heart rate is quicker than the ideal, so-called, by quite a bit.
I don't think 120 as a resting heart rate is good for
I
everyone.
don't think it's great. No, it doesn't look like a great thing. You probably should talk to me behind the scenes about what the hell is going on there, and we'll see if we can sort that out for you.
There is such a thing called overtraining, I think. You don't want that in your heart.
You might be over or under training to achieve a heart rate of that speed. Are you overweight?
I meant specifically over exerting the heart muscle,
Yes, agreed.
as in
Yes,
calling that overtraining,
yes,
if you like.
yeah, I got that. I agree with you.
I
Yes.
didn't mean the whole body, but yes.
Yes, good.
Either of them could lead to problems, obviously. What are the benefits of training grounded, and what would one expect to see in terms of heart rate?
Well, I don't know about whether there being any additional benefits of training and being grounded at the same time, necessarily. I would suspect that your heart rate at any given absolute workload would be reduced by grounding because blood is thinner when you're grounded. The viscosity is thinner in effect. Whether that's a good thing or not, well, it's interesting because actually if you reduce the stress of a training bout, do you then reduce the training effect that you'll get from that? Probably. Think of that? Don't know.
Have you ever heard about bee bread?
Bee bread.
Okay, I haven't. I know you're not a fan of honey, but what about bee pollen and bee bread? They are lower in carbs, and the bee bread seems to be extremely nutrient dense, and it's naturally fermented.
Eat meat and associated fat, meat meaning muscle meat, plus or minus salt, plus or minus butter, plus or minus dairy, plus or minus eggs. Rest, rinse, and repeat, ideally. We don't need any of this other nonsense, frankly. Nutritionally, anyway.
Okay.
Never heard of it, by the way, bee bread.
Recommended carnivore foods high in retinol, considering that liver is BART banned.
Why do you want foods high in retinol? For what possible reason would you want that? Why do you want high retinol?
Indeed, a Rooney. But eggs.
Eggs are high in retinol, yes. But why would you want to do that?
Butter.
Sure, but why would you want to do that still?
Indeed.
Yeah.
Sorry for the TMI. I believe in the carnivore diet, but when I eat that way, I feel more constipated. I notice yellow-white pieces within my bowel movements. Do I have an issue with digesting fat?
Sounds like it. Perhaps you should talk to me in the background, have a consult. You can do that by typing in bit.ly/Bart-KAY. And then it will ask you to join my Patreon system as a subscriber for monthly consultancies, which is a jump on, jump off carousel. Jump on when you want to start consulting and jump off when you're done. Don't forget to jump off or you'll be charged again. No refunds. Ted said so.
Good.
Yeah.
Is foul-smelling urine a sign of anything?
Depends on what the foul smell is, which, again, we would need to ask you some questions to ascertain what it's likely to be and possibly have some testing done on said urine if we think there is a particular problem with it. That's a consultancy issue, bit.ly/Bart-KAY.
Okay. What benefits have you two noticed since sleeping grounded? I know you don't like using some blood tests, but do you track any markers since sleeping grounded?
Like what? What markers? The only markers to do with sleeping that I gauge is how well do I sleep, which is a bit of a movable feast from time to time. I am still apt to become less likely to sleep if I'm distressed about something or whatever. But I think in the last, year or so, I've actually got vastly better in terms of my sleeping. I go to bed much earlier than I did, and I wake up much earlier, usually, than I ever did. And I think a lot of that is down to a combination of grounding for several years and being in a position these days where I'm much less distressed than I was previously as well. It's a rich tapestry.
I have the same thing. When Bart is distressed, I don't sleep very well. I'm a very light sleeper.
Yes. She is.
Yes. You could probably track your deep sleep, obviously length of sleep, maybe a heart rate variability or such things. I don't really notice any difference, to be honest.
Right.
Personally.
Okay.
The only thing that makes a difference to my sleep, as if we're talking about biohacks, is cold thermogenesis. It's the only thing.
Or sleeping alone.
Yeah, that helps. Definitely helps.
Well, soon we'll have a mansion house, a palace of the sovereign nation of Pimbatia, where there'll be plenty of state rooms. You can choose one.
Good. I shall sleep what am I trying to say?
In the master suite.
Yes, in the kingly suite was kind of what I wanted to say, but anyhow.
Right. Was that the downstairs or the upstairs one?
It must be the upstairs ones because it's awesome. Even though it doesn't have an ensuite.
It does.
Whatever. Not upstairs.
Well, in between the two rooms there is one.
There's a toilet.
Yeah, and a shower. What else do you want?
Not a shower upstairs.
There is.
Nope.
Yes, there is.
How much do you want to bet?
All right, let's go for this, shall we? Let's go for this.
There's no shower upstairs.
There is.
This on record, I say no shower.
Okay.
Remember that, so you don't try to turn it around.
Well,
as you usually
it's on record here. Everybody knows. I said there is a shower upstairs.
I say there is no shower upstairs.
Right. And will you make a public apology when I'm proven correct?
Will you?
Yes, I will if I'm proven wrong.
So here, in the floor plan, it says there is a shower upstairs, but there actually isn't.
All right. We'll see when we get there for our next inspection.
Which
from my
tomorrow.
memory, there is one.
There's tomorrow.
Yes, tomorrow we're going to have another, make sure it's all tickety-boo.
Yes. So we need to record this. We need to go upstairs with the camera together.
Yes.
And record it.
Right.
Yeah.
Good.
Cool.
Very good.
Okay, question. 190 centimeters male, 83 kilos, 70 kilo lean body mass. How much protein and fat should I be consuming? Bun creatinine high.
70 kilos lean body mass is the thing we're looking for. What you do is multiply that by 2, which will give you 140 grams of protein per day, preferably in one meal, if you can possibly achieve that. And to get 140 grams of protein, you need to multiply that weight by about 4 for the weight of raw steak. What's so funny?
I just thought about what you did the other evening.
Oh, tell them. Go on.
I can't.
You can. If you can get this out, you're welcome to tell the story. Apparently, it was quite amusing. To be fair, I did laugh too.
For once.
You want me to tell the story? Because you can't do it, can you? No. All right. So we were sitting watching something stupid on television, and I had this bottle of Kefir, which needed shaking up. And I had the cap on it. It was shake, 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 take the cap off, have a sip, put it down, whatever. Before I have another sip, shake, 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 bloody blah, have it,
God.
Anyway, on about the third occasion, I forgot to put the lid on the thing, and I picked it up and went,
Okay, all over the sofa,
all over me,
all over the floor.
all over everything, Kefir everywhere.
Fucking hell.
I hope they do.
Crying.
Mm.
I don't know why I started thinking about that. It's funny as fuck.
She's literally crying.
Oh my god.
Would you like to compose yourself, Your Majesty?
I'm hot now. Well, Snoozy got some kefir from the floor.
She did.
She likes it.
Mm.
Right. My friend's severe autism was cured by carnivore. Any other amazing curing stories due to carnivore?
Many. And you don't cure someone of autism. It is what it is. It's a hard-wiring thing. What you do is you ameliorate the symptomology. Yes, there are many stories of people curing or ameliorating all sorts of conditions using a carnivore diet. Yes.
No. There you go. Does contact lenses block daylight? Would it be better to use glasses for not blocking daylight?
I'm not sure what you're talking about there. If you mean blue light, then no, not unless they are blue light blocking contact lenses. If you mean if they block daylight, well, then you wouldn't be able to fucking see, would you? You'd be blind, because daylight is how you see when it's daytime. I don't get it. Yeah.
Next.
Right.
My sister has just been diagnosed with metastatic lung cancer. Will carnivore assist on her treatment?
It's possible that it will have some ameliorative effect. I would suggest those 5 things, and that if I was diagnosed, I would do those 5 things even more. I would also add dichloroacetate to my regime. That's what I would do. That's not advice. And I would also get hold of a glutamate blocking worming tablet and take that as well. Plus, I would probably fast for 7 days at a time. That's what I would be doing. And I would repeat that cycle until either I was dead or it sorted itself out.
Okay then.
Okay.
Oopsie. Would a joint a day be indicated for optimal brain health and cardio?
No.
What's the best way to prep and break a fast?
Well, I would say something like egg drop soup or something like broth, something like that. Have a moderate serving of that. And then probably wait 4 to 6 hours before having your first solid meal, which shouldn't be a huge meal. And then after that, you're okay, probably. That's what I would suggest. What I would actually do myself is something different, because
beer and cake.
Beer and cake and cake and beer. Not that kind of beer, Ted.
Not a bear.
Not a beer. Beer. Yeah.
Would an intake of 150 grams of fat and 50 grams of carbs daily be too much in terms of Randall cycle for moderately active adult when weighing about 65 kilograms?
Maybe, maybe not. Your mileage will vary. There is a bell-shaped curve around people's reactions to such.
Okay.
Yes.
Come on. Can you please review what is allowed for marketing Cerule and what is not?
You can use any of the resources you find in your Cerule back office or web portal in terms of advertising materials and things that you can post to social media and let people have hold of and read and see and whatever else. You can say that this product is backed by peer-reviewed research, if you like, that says that it does what it says it does in terms of causing the release of adult stem cells that it claims it does, in terms of the Stem Enhance Ultra, that is. You can tell your own story. I started taking Cerule products at this time, marked X on the calendar, and what I observed or noticed about my health following that or coincident with that was X, Y, or Z. What you cannot do is make any therapeutic claim and say that Cerule products will cause you to get better in any way, because the FDA won't allow us to say that, so we can't. But what we can do is, as I've said, we can say what the stuff does and what our experience has been. Okay?
Okay.
Okay.
Can elastin be supplemented like collagen or hyaluronic acid?
Yes, you can supplement anything you like. How effective that is depends on what it is you're supplementing and what else is going on as well.
What would you say to someone who wants to eat better but is really struggling with sugar addiction? Someone with IBD trying to be carnivore but find it very hard to stop the crap food.
I would suggest that they contact Her Majesty Pim, Queen of Pirates, on her business email address, which is
pim@pimjohnson.com.
pim@pimjohnson.com, and that's PIMJANSSON, like it is on there. Yeah, it's not Pam and it's not Johnson. It's Pim with an I, Jansson, as in Swedish JANSSON.
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 Yes. I mean, if they really do want to stop, you can stop, but it requires a bit of work. So if it's just like, yeah, I would like to stop, but I can't, then don't contact me.
Save your money.
Because I'm not going to be able to help you. I can only help you if you really fucking want to do it.
Yes, that's right. Pim has no patience at all.
I have a lot of patience, but you're going to waste your money.
Yep.
Basically.
We'll take it. I'll tell you what.
Sure, but it's not fun for me or you. And
well,
I
want
my clients to succeed.
Fine, they can just send the money to Ted. We'll take
send them to Ted.
Yep. Won't you, Ted?
It won't help you though, but send them to Ted.
Yep.
If you would extend your life hacks to 6 to 10, what would it contain?
Don't know. I'd have to consider that. Numbers 6 to 10 will take out a grand total of 5% or less of the battle, because 95% is already covered in my top 5. That's why I stopped there. And people can focus on 5 things, but 6 to 10 is usually too many.
Okay. Where did it go?
There it is.
Zone 2 cardio running. You said to avoid it, right? What about rucking? Brisk walking, carrying a heavy load puts my heart rate into zone 2, though at the lower end.
It depends on how you define the zones and where each zone starts and stops, because that's completely fucking arbitrary, really. Zone 2 is just a way of describing moderate intensity, so-called aerobic work. Anything that you can do for hours and hours and hours is too low in intensity. If it's of a stable workload or power output, depending on what mode of activity we're talking about. If it's burst, rest, high intensity, and get after it for a bit and then slow down for a bit, get after it again and then slow down, that's fine. Yeah. Super chat.
Yes.
Done. Thank you, FFTT.
I've seen the majority of your videos. I'm aware humans are obligate hyper-carnivore and exogenous carbs and fiber not needed for life. What role does carbs and fiber actually have except starvation?
You mean to prevent starvation, I guess? None. Fiber and carbohydrates are completely unnecessary in the human system for life, health, longevity, or anything else. They have no role at all, exogenous carbohydrates and fiber. None. You can take some in, a small amount. Your particular ability to tolerate that is just that. It's your particular ability. It's individual. Your mileage will vary, and also your tolerance will also change from time to time, depending on where you place your genes in terms of the environment that they're in. But what's their role? None. Nothing. Not a damn thing.
Good.
Good.
Is synthetic D vitamin worth taking? Can it really mimic the benefits from being in the sun, living in Sweden?
I wouldn't bother. I would get in the sun during the summer.
The sun has a lot more than just the capacity to help you produce vitamin D. So
yeah,
much more. I can't remember where I read that, but someone was theorizing about actually maybe we don't need as much vitamin D as we think we need to be healthy, and it's rather about being in the sun. So being in the sun is actually the protective mechanism behind it, not the high vitamin D levels, and that could also explain why some people don't seem to be able to get their vitamin D levels up no matter what they do. But I haven't really looked into that, but could be something that you might be interested in reading about and come and tell me about.
Right. And if you haven't taken an odyssey of discovery on the interwebs, you probably haven't seen the majority of my videos, because my videos go back 6.5 years, I think, now. But you won't find 6.5 years worth of video history here on the YouTubes. I'd take an odyssey of discovery if you want to learn more.
Okay, let's see. Is being fat adapted an actual thing, or just something certain YouTubers say, and does the random cycle prove or disprove this?
Well, it's got nothing to do with the random cycle, and yes, fat adapted is a thing you either are or aren't. Well, it's a sliding scale like everything else, to be fair. The random cycle just is whether you are adapted to fat or not adapted to fat. Yes.
Yes. Yeah, sorry, I sent a duplicate question because I thought you missed it. Much love and thank you for answering my question. Yes, I don't know if that was yours, but I did see 1 or 2 duplicates. And I might miss some questions as well because the chat is effed up and jumping and so on. But please try to not ask it again. We are behind. We have lots of questions in a queue, so we can't answer them when you ask them. So give it a little bit of time. If I don't answer it, you know that I have missed it, then you can ask again.
Yes.
And if it's a stupid fucking question, I might just skip it anyway.
Yep.
So there you go. Should I sleep on sand or outside on grass to improve grounding?
Well, sand is not going to ground you because sand is basically glass, and glass is an insulator. So the only way to get grounded on sand is if it's wet. The same is true of concrete. Grass will ground you, absolutely. You don't need to do that, though, because you can ground yourself inside the house by using grounding kit. Sleeping outside has a whole bunch of other issues attendant, of course. Good.
Very good. Right. Is hyaluronic acid found also in muscle meat or not, or only bones and organs?
I don't know. I'd have to look that up.
Try to ask Google.
Yeah.
My dad's cardiac output is 30%. Is there any solution to improve this?
Yep.
5 things.
5 things will help, for sure, probably. But also, that sounds to me like there's some very serious cardiac pathology going on there, which would definitely, absolutely be a consultancy issue. bit.ly/BART-KAY to organise and pay for such.
Yes. Okay. Would eating fruit be better than eating processed sugar? Could you still heal?
Why would you do either of those things? Also, it depends on how much of each of those things, and what particular fruit, and what particular form of so-called processed sugar. How long is a piece of string? Ask better questions.
Very good.
Yeah.
Let's see if this is better. What kind of animals will you keep on the farm, and will you make a video tour?
As to the second part, you can bet your asses there'll be videos about what goes on the farm. Well, some of the things that go on the farm, but some things that happen on the farm stay on the farm, don't they? In terms of what animals, well, Pim's still deciding, but she has a number of ideas, don't you?
I do. We shall have 2 kind of ducks, khaki Campbells and Muscovy ducks, which are not actually ducks, but they're kind of called ducks. And we're debating whether we should have some kunikunes or not.
Kunikuni, for those who don't know, is a New Zealand
heritage pig.
A
very fat one that lives on grass, doesn't eat grain and shit. Well, they can, but they don't need it. Which is one of the reasons that they would be a good pig to have.
Also, like, you make bacon from kunikunis and it's just white, as in fat, with a few streaks of meat.
Looks like lardo.
We're going to actually see if we can get that together, and maybe there'll be a market for it.
And I've been looking at sheeps.
Sheeps.
Different kind of sheeps.
Bulldog sheeps.
Yeah. They're called Texel sheeps.
They're
I think
like
they are from the Netherlands originally, or from an island that is a Dutch island, I suppose. So they seem to be hardy and somewhat disease resistant, because there are a lot of parasites and lots of problems with that in sheep, in not just this country, but I don't want to have to give them lots of wormers and other shit. I want to breed animals that are resistant to that shit, so we don't have to deal with it, basically.
Mm.
So I'm not going to pick the worst type of sheep for that.
Fuck me, it's raining again.
I know.
It's been raining a lot.
Keep looking outside. So
Jesus.
some people say you should get Dorper sheep because they have the most meat on them, but these are really freaking muscly sheep.
Mm.
They are like Belgian blue sheeps.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which actually comes naturally from them being isolated on this island. So that's pretty cool. And I'm not sure, we haven't got to the cows yet, but with time there will be Wagyus, but that's just way too expensive for us right now, so we'll see.
So send us all your money, because we've spent it all on buying the farm.
Yes. I really got a lot of mucus from the crying and stuff.
Uh-huh.
So. Oh my god. I blame the Kefir. Trying so hard not to make a dirty joke out of that situation.
That one.
Mm-hmm. I knew what was coming with the Kefir thing when Bart started to tell the story. It gave me a good belly laugh.
Invisible penis. No singing.
Bart, I literally just did the same thing with my milk yesterday.
Good.
Good on you.
Yeah. Invisible penis.
So that's how far behind we are.
Yes.
We talked about the Kefir ages ago.
We did.
So, let's see if I can find any cues here. Here we go. Have Bart or Pim tried raw carnivore? If so, how long and what were its effects? I know cooking destroys quite a bit of taurine, creatine, glycine, B vitamins, etc.
Yes, for periods very short, not exclusively.
You mean
a meal or two here and there. Effects, who knows? Too short a trial period for me anyway. The fact of the matter is, even well-cooked meat still contains perfectly sufficient of all the nutrient you require. So it's not something to worry about. You can absolutely eat your meat raw if you choose to. That's your absolute choice and funeral, as it were.
Claire says, no singing, not that song anyway. So,
confiscated penis. Do, 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 do. No singing.
I've probably eaten more raw meat than you have, but I haven't done raw carnivore as in just eating raw meat for longer periods of time. I don't see a point in doing that. I eat it when I fancy it, and that's every now and then. However, I'm pretty much eating my meat close to raw anyway, because I like steak blue or at mostly cooked rare. So there you go.
And do you like your meat to have been hanging for 53 years?
Right, shall we do the next
Apparently
question?
not. Yeah, what's next?
What are your thoughts on taking a walk after eating a meal? Does it actually provide benefits, or is it minimal? None.
N equals 1. You do you in that regard. Yeah.
Personally, I don't do well with walks after meals because I get a stitch very, very easily.
Yeah.
So
Well,
depends on how much I eat, but...
That just jumped a fuckload. Or did you go to the super chat?
I went to the super chat.
Very
so
good.
that was actually on purpose.
Oh, good.
So thanks for the super chats.
Yes.
Humans of northern descent, how often would the ancestors be having certain fruit or berries in their region during a year?
About fuck all. Some.
In autumn,
Yes,
we
a
have
bit.
apples and pears in Sweden. We spoke about this before.
Mm.
There's like some berries, blueberries, raspberries, that, maybe gooseberries, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But pretty much it's apples and pears. When I grew up, it was like, and plums.
Mm.
Those are things.
When Pim first came to New Zealand, she was like, fuck me, there are lemon trees growing everywhere. Yeah, lemons grow on trees?
I did not say that.
I'm allowed to embellish.
You're making shit up, you mean?
Yeah, if you like.
Yeah, I had this idea that citrus trees needed more heat than here.
Just more than Sweden.
Yeah.
Mm.
We don't have lemon trees in Sweden.
Yeah.
Well, someone might have in some
Yes.
greenhouse or whatever.
Yes.
So, why skip my question? Very rude. Well, did you put the big capital Q in front of it to start with? If you didn't, you might want to try that.
Try that. Yes, big capital
Or maybe
Q.
ask a stupid question.
Maybe you did. But big capital Q, colon, write the question out and then suffix it with a question mark. That means Ted will find it easier. Won't you, Ted?
Yes. Or maybe, see, there is a question right after without a big capital Q. Shall we answer it or
Go on
not? Carnivore, 3 years,
Yep.
diastolic blood pressure still elevated, 120/100, CAC of 65, all present in LAD. Could this be related?
Yes.
Yes.
Time is what you need, and do all 5. All 5. Not 2 or 3 or 4 of them, all 5. Every day. Every fucking day. Yep. Well, except for the exercise, which is not every day.
And I just want to say, if you really want your question answered, try to super chat.
Yes.
It's going to get your question answered.
It will.
This live stream is probably the only fucking live stream on YouTube where we try to answer every single question. So be grateful and not bitching about it if I miss something.
Agreed.
There you go.
Get fucked. Right.
Do you have any videos on the Odyssey of Discovery or any video you ever published you would disagree with significantly?
No, I agree with myself entirely about everything I've ever said under all circumstances. I am absolutely faultless and flawless. That is how I identify, and if you don't respect my identity, you're a bigot and you are guilty of hate speech. Everything I've said is correct at all times. Isn't that right? Just say yes and nod. Good.
What? Paul Saladin-Cole is now saying fruit is animal-based. Oh.
Paul Salad, I don't know.
Okay. Will you open a petting zoo and can we cuddle the dogs too?
Yes, you can cuddle the dogs if they're up for it.
One of them anyway.
One of them will be up for it. The other one will go woo 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 woo.
Yeah, she's not up for stranger hugging.
And Kuni Kunis are cute. Maybe you'd like to pet the Kuni Kuni.
So we are
Yes, come and
getting-
visit us, Claire, in the sovereign nation of Pimbatia when it becomes established soon, hopefully, i.e. when the bank valuer says, yes, you can have that.
That's our last hurdle.
Yes, last hurdle.
So hopefully next week everything is sorted and we are just waiting
We'll
for
have a
time
celebratory
to pass.
live stream. It's celebrating the establishment of the sovereign nation of Pimbatia.
Yes. Super chat without a question and
That's right,
not
there
on
you
the
go.
screen. There you
Yeah.
go. Thank you guys. Well, you are welcome.
Yes, very welcome. Thank you for the greenback dollars. Yes.
Still not working.
Yes. There you go.
Maybe.
It just takes a bit.
A bit.
Yeah, it's retarded.
Right. Do you like pork rinds as snacks?
She does.
Yep, I do. But I've had some in the freezer forever now and I'm not felt for them. It's kind of...
Poor piggies.
Sometimes I want them all the time, sometimes I don't want them at all.
Poor
So-
piggies.
There you go. Professor, thank you for increasing our awareness on such an important topic. What do you think is required to raise social awareness of proper nutrition, and are you optimistic that such a thing is possible?
Well, it will require people to stop trying to tell people what words they can say on the interwebs around the world. That'll have to stop. And the only way that's going to stop is if the people rise up en masse and say, that stops. Stop it. People are allowed to say words, any words they want to, actually, within the law. I.e., you can't defame or slander somebody. That's fair enough. You can't make threats, physical threats against someone's safety. That's fair enough. Otherwise, words are allowed, apparently. So we need that. We need some of the major platforms that host video entertainment to stop with the shadow banning, to stop with deciding whose words can be heard and at what level. That needs to stop. And I think the other thing that would be handy is if the average intelligence of people was raised by about 30 or 40 IQ points.
That's hate speech.
Perhaps it is.
Someone says here, I'm guilty of hate speech every time I hear someone complain about hate speech.
Yes. Good.
Yes, animal-based fruit parades around its own section of town.
Mm-hmm.
Good day.
Yeah.
Okay, question then. My grandmother was diagnosed with heart fibrillation and has low blood pressure. Now the doctor wants her to take a lot of medicine for this. Is there any alternative instead of medicine?
Yes, there is. Absolutely. You need to consult with me in the background, bit.ly/BART-KAY, and sign yourself up for consultancies there. Carousel, jump on, jump off sort of thing. And I will talk about some of the potential alternatives or adjuncts to allopathic intervention for cardiac issues. And I won't be giving you any advice because that's not what I do. I shall simply be saying, well, this is what I might do in your shoes.
It's crazy how some people think bread is human food. I have never seen a bread hog running around in a field.
A bread hog?
Yes, that's rude.
You obviously haven't met Snoozy.
She's a bread hog. She will fucking eat anything.
Yes, including shit.
Okay, so Salad Man says cucumber is animal based.
Yes, I think we've heard enough from Salad, I don't know.
So that was the last comments. We don't have anything else there.
Excellent. 15 minutes ahead of schedule. Love it.
Excellent.
Right. So anybody that wants any questions answered in the next few minutes, better get in with a super chat immediately. Don't forget that we will very soon be offering citizenships to the sovereign nation of Pimbatia. We're not sure of the fee for such citizenship yet. We'll talk about that amongst ourselves, won't we, Ted? Yes. And you'll get a flag and a certificate and a passport, which allows you entry to Pimbatia. Of course, you'll have to pass through the former New Zealand, now known as the communist state of Hardonistan. Maybe you have to land along the way in the former Australia, which is now known as the totalitarian communist state of Elbostan. Who knows? But anyway, that's coming up. What else do we need to keep an eye on? Well, keep an eye on the channel because people will be wrong during the week, I'm sure. This doesn't look like slowing down anytime soon.
Yeah.
And also stick around the channel if you want to know what it is you should have for your breakfast, really. In which case, it's probably time for Her Majesty Pim, Queen of Pirates, to put on her Meat Militia issued hearing protection. Protects her from singing. And then, well, Ted can speak. You're obviously new here. Ted does indeed often speak. In fact, let's just have an example of Ted speaking, because Ted actually does say one or two things from time to time. Here's an example.
Bollocks!
Ted is also capable of saying things like,
What are you, retarded?
anyway, you're welcome. Thanks everyone for being here. Thanks for the super chats. Thanks for all of that. You've been warned.
Oh, right.
you better put on your Meat Militia issued hearing protection.
Okay.
Right, good. And it goes a little bit something like this. Steak and eggs and eggs and steaks. That's what you should have for invisible penis. Eggs and steak and eggs. Just making sure you heard. We got it. Right, okay, we'll see you next time when someone else will be wrong on interwebs or something.